Top diplomats from Japan, China and South Korea have gathered in Tokyo on the 22nd of March to discuss regional security and economic matters amidst rising geopolitical uncertainty. Hosted by Japanese Foreign Minister Takeshi Iwaya, the meeting included Chinese Foreign Minister Wang and South Korean Foreign Minister Tae-yul. Iwaya underscored the gravity of the current international situation. This meeting, the first since 2023, focused on critical issues such as North Korea's nuclear weapons, trade, and laying the groundwork for a future trilateral summit. While Japan and South Korea, both key US allies, view China as a security challenge, Iwaya is also set to hold individual discussions with China and South Korea, including a high-level economic talk with Beijing regarding Japan's seafood import ban related to the release of Fukushima wastewater. Joining us at this point is Ross Feingold, political risk analyst. He's joining us live from Taipei, Taiwan. Thank you very much for speaking with us today. Let me begin by just asking you about what all is on the agenda of this keenly watched meeting.
There's a number of foreign policy, trade policy, and security policy issues that are on the agenda. One issue is clearly North Korea. North Korea's continued research and development of nuclear weapons and the other provocative words or actions that North Korea takes. So that's certainly going to be high on the agenda. Another issue is trade and the growing trade protectionism that is emanating from the United States, but is followed on by retaliatory tariffs in other countries around the world. It's probably something that the three countries could agree on. They don't want to see the global trade regime devolve into tit-for-tat tariff wars. And then the other issue is just how to maintain dialogue between the three countries. Can they get their three leaders together in one room? And can they find common ground on a broad agenda of issues?
Right. You know, it's very interesting, of course, that, the three countries are meeting because there have, of course, been outstanding issues. There have, of course, been issues that the three countries have not been on the same page over. Is there going to be common ground then found after this meeting? Will the elephants in the room also be brought up?
Yeah, there might be some common interests that could come out of the meetings. But I'll tell you, the funny thing here is Japan's foreign minister has changed multiple times over the past 4 or 5 years. So has South Korea, and South Korea is currently without even a true president because of the impeachment proceedings going on against Yoon Suk-yeol. So the only person who's been in the job continuously is Wang. So it's kind of ironic that China's, they have three people in the room, but the only person with job stability seems to be Wang. He's been their foreign policy or foreign minister for a number of years already. So from China's point of view, it's they're probably saying, I'll talk to South Korea and Japan, but I don't know if my counterpart is going to be there for very long. And for China, that would be an honest approach to take. They just can't rely on what South Korea or Japan's foreign minister says because they don't know how long they'll be in the job.
Yes, Ross, also I have to ask you, is there word of a future trilateral summit happening between the three countries? Is the ground being laid for that?
Certainly. I think there's a willingness from the three countries to have a leadership summit, probably more so from China than from South Korea or Japan. South Korea and Japan, they also have to be concerned about the U.S. reaction to the possibility that China, Japan, and South Korea's leaders would have a summit. So I think China wants it. I think Xi Jinping wants it. They'll have to talk about details, starting with where would it occur. They'd have to pick one out of the three countries. So that's certainly already going to create some sensitivities and difficulties just picking the location. And then they'd have to work on the agenda, keeping in mind that for these kinds of leadership summits, usually the three sides would talk well in advance about what they will agree on so that when they actually get in the room and they issue a joint statement, there's no surprises at that point. So what's going to come out of such a trilateral really would have to be agreed to in advance, and that's going to take a lot of work from working teams from the three sides.
Another sticky issue is the Japanese seafood import ban. Could that come up as well?
Well, what would be given in return if China's going to remove the ban? They're probably going to expect something from Japan in return, and it's not clear what Japan at the moment really has to offer China by way of some inducements. So that's a challenging thing. I don't think China is going to give it away for nothing unless the Chinese side decides that this would be a gesture of friendship towards Japan that we could live with without anything in return in the immediate future. Very difficult for China to make that decision, but it's possible that they would, and then they would try and get something in return down the road.
All right, Ross Feingold, thank you very much for joining us with your perspective on that story.